Craig Cormack, executive chef at Sophia's restaurant, shares some of his salt collection with us. He began collecting salt 5 years ago after attending a food and wine demonstration. Craig now has a whopping 101 different salts.
Salt takes the form of many aspects where we have sort of about 16 classifications for salt itself, ranging from things like sea salt, which would be something like this over here, which is a crystal, and you can see the beautiful crystals that are on there. And this is one from the Skeleton Coast up in Namibia. Some of the range that I carry is one over here from Cheshire. The salt itself has a very unusual sort of coloration as well. It's a type of mud salt. I also have over here, which is a German salt, which is incredible. It's actually a cold salt, and you can actually pick up that sort of shininess on the salt itself. And that whole coloration of there has some salt combined with the actual charcoal itself. Also have the salt from Poland, which is quite an unusual one. It's a World Heritage Site, which runs about 374 meters below the Earth's surface, where we have huge corridors, which they've basically harvested the salt from. They have chandeliers, a huge church in there. I also have some Fairland salt, which is a South African salt, which I've been fortunate to work with a gentleman who's very big in the salt industry in South Africa. Unusual salt coming from a desert salt. We also have a red alea salt, which is basically a volcanic salt, and that red alea has the mud traces in there as well, and gives you a very nice sort of earthy flavor. I also have some salt from Greece as well, which is what we call fleur de sal. Fleur de sal is basically your first layering when the salt actually forms crystals on top of the water, and then they fall down. This is just a small range of my collection that I have, the various colors that you've seen. I also have this wonderful salt block which has the salmon coloration in there. But enough about that, let's go and do some cooking.
In commemoration of Salt Awareness Week, which promotes the use of natural and chemical-free salts, Craig is cooking a succulent cured trout on a salt block with baby greens and caviar. For this recipe, he uses onions, olive oil, garlic, salt, capers, lemon, and baby greens. The trout, which is filleted and skinned, is then served on a salt block.
Right, now for something a little bit different. Not many people have cooked on a salt block before. We're actually going to be taking our trout, which is salmon trout from the region here in Somerset West, and we're going to be preparing you a cured salmon trout dish, which we're actually going to use the salt as the vehicle to actually cure the fish itself, versus putting salt on top of the fish, reverse psychology, putting fish on top of the salt, and then run through the curing process with all the usual accompaniments. Right, so what we're going to do now is take the trout and we're going to carve it into a number of slices, and we just need thin little slices, and that's why we're using something like a salmon knife, just to give us that really nice finish itself. All right, so now we're going to take our ballantine and we're actually just going to trim those into medallions for you. The ballantine itself has just been something where we've taken fish and we've actually cut it into long strips, and we've put it into a plastic like this, and the plastic itself helps us cut through it so we don't actually damage the fish or squash it, because keeping in mind that we're not actually using any gelatin in this fish, we're using the natural gelatin of the fish, again keeping it nice and healthy. Then from there we literally just take off the plastic, and that keeps the whole piece together. We're going to now assemble the dish itself. All right, over here we've got a bit of garlic emulsion, which is a sort of almost mayonnaise-styled base as such, and we're going to use that for flavor on the actual salt block itself.
Sprinkle black pepper over the garlic emulsion, then add the cured trout onto the slab.
And then our next part is going to be our ballantine, which we're going to put on top. We've got some of our crossinis, which will go over here as a sort of garnish point, and a little bit of lemon as well. Next we'll put some baby greens, which just dribble over the top.
SMS the keyword trout to 33728 right now for a list of ingredients.
And from there we take some onion, which has been nicely spotted on there. And then lastly we take a little bit of olive oil, which we basically drizzle all over the top. When we do that, you have a great combination of something that's slightly salty, nice creaminess of the olive oil on there, and the whole dish for me should be something of presentation. It's also Salt Awareness Week. We need to keep that in mind. Even though we're working with something like Himalayan rock salt, which is an unrefined salt, use it sparingly, and happy cooking.
Even if you don't have a salt slab at home, be sure to check out the recipe. Slice the cured trout and prepare the ballantine. Use garlic emulsion for the base of the dish, then add the fish. Dress it with baby greens, capers, lemon, and grissini. Drizzle with olive oil, and it's ready to go.
All right, there we have it. We got salmon two ways, cured and Valentine. We're going to have a little sample of that and see how that tastes. That makes sense to me.
By supporting the Hoedspruit Endangered Species Centre, that's where we found goodness. Pick and Pay, always there for you.